Thank you and greetings. Welcome to this presentation on standardized testing. It's my honor and pleasure to be with you here today as we talk about testing. Next slide. I'm one of the coordinators in the Counseling Services Department, one of several coordinators, and this is just a little bit about who we are. We support the counselors throughout the district, elementary, middle, and high school counselors as they serve your students' mental and social emotional needs. Next slide. So before we get into this idea of testing or this topic of testing too deep, I want you to just stop for a moment and think about what testing means to you. What have been some of your experiences with testing when you were growing up or even as young adults? What are those feelings and thoughts when you think of testing? Well, I can assure you our students have some of the same anxiety that you probably had growing up with testing as well. But what we hope is that we prepare our students and we put them at ease about the testing, letting them know just to do their best and the outcomes will be outstanding for them. And so we need your help to partner with us in just helping students be prepared for testing and feel good about the testing experience. Next slide. So a little bit about what we're going to learn today. We're going to look into the definition of standardized tests. When we use that term standardized tests, what do we mean? We're going to look at the types of tests that are administered in Dallas ISD, the calendar of tests, the STAR test dates and windows. We're also going to go a little bit into detail about some test taking tips that will help your child be successful and end with the Q&A session. Next slide. So just so we're all on the same page as far as standardized testing, a standardized test is any form of test that requires, one, that all test takers answer the same questions or selection of questions from a common bank of questions in the same way, and two, is scored on a standard or consistent manner, which makes it possible to compare the relative performance of individual students or group of students. So testing is all about seeing how well students are learning, how well they're developing. Are we on target, or what are some things we need to do to help students get on target with their learning? Next slide. All right, so just a little bit about the types of tests. Our state test, our primary state test, as you know, is the STAR test. And that STAR test is administered in grades 3 through 8. And just so you know, STAR stands for State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness. All right, so the STAR test is administered in those grades. The reading and math are administered in all grades from 3 through 8. The writing is only administered in a couple of grade levels, and that's the 4th grade and 7th grade. Science is only administered in the 5th and 8th grade, and then social studies is administered in the 8th grade. Then once students begin to take high school courses, whether they start in middle school or in high school, they take them all in high school, there are 5 STAR EOC, or what we call end of course tests. Those are Algebra 1, Biology, US History, English 1, and English 2. These are the tests that students have to pass in order to graduate. These tests are part of the graduation requirement in the state of Texas. So for students who take Algebra 1 in middle school for high school credit, they would take the STAR EOC in 8th grade in middle school. Same thing with English 1. There are a few students who take English 1 in middle school, so they would take the STAR EOC in middle school in 8th grade. But for the most part, the overwhelming majority of our students take the majority of these tests in high school. Then the other test that's administered and required by the state for English language learners is the TELPAS. That's the Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System. And this test is designed to just monitor the progress of English language learners, making sure that we professionally and appropriately meet their needs as far as curriculum, as they learn the English language as a second language. Next slide. So some of the other tests that we administer in the district, we administer the MAP test, which is the measure of academic progress, common assessments, and ACP tests, which are subject-based tests. All of these local assessments are meant to determine how well instruction and learning are going with our students. How well are they progressing? Are they on grade level? Are there gaps in the learning? And all of the information that we get from these tests is really to help ensure student success as we go back and look at our curriculum, look at where we need to provide tutoring and interventions, and how to help students progress on track throughout the curriculum, throughout their school career. And then Rachel has already talked a little bit about our college access testing. The district has an SAT day, which is usually in the spring semester for 11th graders, an ACT day, which is for 12th graders in the fall, AP testing, which is at the end of the course, and also I left off PSAT testing. And so all of these tests are administered by the district as college access tests, and in order that students don't have to pay the extra fees to take those tests and be able to have that college access. Next slide. So on this slide is just a glimpse of what that testing calendar looks like. As you can see, it's very crowded. You have access to this calendar, as a matter of fact, on our district website, under the parent section and under the calendar section. So as you go in the calendar section and you have the various school calendars, it's listed as testing calendar or assessment calendar. You click on that and you can see the different testing windows for the various tests. And so we won't go to that website, but you do have access to that. I am going to go over, though, some of the testing windows for the STAR test, which I know is probably of the greatest interest for you parents. Next slide. All right, so STAR testing. This year is an unusual year. It's different from any other year, of course, because of the pandemic. And so with that in mind, the state has given districts a longer testing window so that we can practice social distancing, so that we can do all of this in a safe and appropriate manner. So for STAR testing, the STAR test actually began this week with the English and the reading and some of the writing tests, and it goes all the way through June 11th. And so they're different, as you look at that calendar of testing, there are different tests at different times. So usually the reading and the writing part come a little bit earlier, math, then we get into the science and social studies. There are different versions of the test. There's the paper version, which they're just limited quantities of that. And then there's the online version, which our district has chosen to use this one more than the other format. And so it offers more flexibility of scheduling. So we have, again, a longer window for students to come in and take the test online. So with this STAR, let me back up a moment. Students will have to take those on campus. Those can't, even with virtual learners, they will have to take the STAR test on campus, all right? And then the summer administration of the STAR test runs from June 22nd through July 2nd. And so again, same format. There's the paper offering, which is earlier, has to be taken earlier, and then the online, which affords, again, more flexibility of schedule. Next slide. All right, so I want to give a little time for some tips for parents. We certainly cannot be successful in the things that we do to make sure students are successful without parent involvement. It takes all of us working together to ensure students' success. And so with that, some of just little quick tips are just encourage good study habits all along the way, making sure that your students are paying attention in class and getting all that they can get out of instruction. Encourage good class participation, making sure that they're not just sitting and getting, but as they participate, they learn better. Ensure that your child gets adequate sleep, not just the nights, but especially the nights before testing, but throughout the year, that they get sleep, adequate sleep, so that they can focus and be better prepared for learning. Support healthy testing perspectives. So in this atmosphere of high stakes testing, we want to make sure that we put it in perspective, that students know that it's important for them to do their best, but it's not the end of the world if they're not successful. And so just fostering that, always do your best, and the rest will take care of itself. Help students handle any excessive anxiety. And this is where your school counselor can come in. Students who have a great amount of anxiety about test taking can go to the counselor. You can refer your child to the counselor to kind of help them with relaxation techniques and just talking through and envisioning success on the test. Making sure your child eats a good breakfast. Being positive goes a long way. So the morning of a test, with my own daughter, I make sure that that is the most pleasant morning possible. I want her to have a bright and positive outlook. I don't want her to worry about anything that went on right before the test. And so as positive as you can be, especially on the days of the test, that goes a long way for them to be able to concentrate. And then teaming up with staff and planning for success. Check with your child's teachers to make sure that they're on target and well prepared for the test. And if not, ask for just some tips on things that you can do with them at home to help them get ready for the test. If you'll just go to the link, there's a link from the state of Texas, and they also offer tips for parents on testing. On this website, there are also materials to help your child prepare for the test, and just various resources so that you can partner with your child's school in ensuring success. There's also information on how to read the test results when they come back, what those test results mean. It breaks down areas that students were strong on the test. It also goes into areas that may need some more support and some more tutoring to get on target so that students do even better the next time. So all of this information is at your disposal. It's on the TEA website under assessment. And if you go there, it has all kinds of information on how to help your child succeed. I think we might have a few moments to look at the video.
As parents, we all want our children to be successful. That's why we created the STAR Report Card. With this report, you're able to take a deeper look into how well your child did on the STAR test and where he or she may need additional help. To learn more about what's on your child's STAR Report Card, go to texasassessment.gov and log in the purple box at the top of the page using your child's unique access code found on the front cover of their STAR Report Card. Once you're logged in, you'll have access to even more information about how your child did on the STAR test. You'll be able to view the real questions from the test, what progress was made from last year to this year, which skills need more practice, and even activities you can do at home to help them improve in the coming year. As a refresher, here's a checklist of things that you can do to help your child do well in school this year and every year. Have regular meetings with your child's teacher. Go to parent-teacher conferences to talk about your child's skills and progress, and to learn about things that might interest your child and inspire learning outside of school. Sample questions you can ask during a parent-teacher conference are on the front cover of the STAR Report Card. You can find more resources on the texasassessment.gov website. Review your child's homework daily and help your child work through hard problems. If you feel your child needs more help, send a note to your child's teachers to let them know the areas that need more practice. Support additional learning at home. You can access a variety of free and helpful resources on the texasassessment.gov website. There are many free tools that you can use to help your child learn even when they are not at school. Use the Find a Book tool available on the Lexile page of texasassessment.gov to create a reading list based on your child's Lexile and reading interests. Print and take that list to the library to find books and other reading materials to help your child build important literacy skills during the summer months. The more you take part in your child's education, the more you can help your child grow academically.
So again, that website has a wealth of tools, and hopefully you were able to get some additional tips on helping your child be successful, especially the fact that we got to partner together, staff and parents. That's what's going to mean success for our students. Next slide. So with that, that concludes my presentation on standardized testing.